Discussing young people, their needs and their plans. Creating a community where we all can take a stand. Neighborhood gatherings where connections are made. Community where support won't fade. Communication channels for neighbors to share resources and information.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Generational Turnaround Podcast, where we seek the truth and then we bring you the proof from the people that I invite to be my guests. They are professional in their fields. So what they tell you, you can believe and implement it into your life. Generational turnaround. There's a lot of things happening in this world, happening to you personally, that you might think to yourself, I really wish I could turn that around to where when it was good, when it made it such a difference in your life, it catapulted you, maybe in your health, maybe in your relationships, maybe in your relationship with your children, maybe children, your relationship with your parents. But we can do a generational turnaround. There's some things that you won't want to turn around. You might say, hey, I like it like this. It was too slow back then. And then maybe you might say, those were the best years of my life. At that time, I would like to you go there. Stop right there and go forward from right there. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, I'm 67 and I can think of a lot of places that I would like to go back to. Use what worked at that time, bring it forward to the present, and maybe hope my grandchildren, maybe my great grandchildren, maybe we don't know, a friend may use that advice, whoever. So right now, my guest, Paula Denoncourt, she is gonna come on. I'm gonna introduce you by reading her bio, and Paula is about the the way that we are eating, the way that we are treating our bodies, the way the neglect and what can come from that. Maybe you haven't had it yet, but Paul is going to tell you what can come from the way that you're treating your body. And you might say, that generational turnaround is not a bad thing. So I'm going to bring Paula up. Hey, Paula.
Hey, so good to be here.
Thank you for coming, Paula. You know, I always like to be here with you because you put us up on the real time going on when it comes to our health, in the way that we eat, in the way that we just treat our body at all. So let me read y'all a little bit about Paula. Paula Denoncourt is an international speaker, author, TV host, and a certified holistic health consultant. She specializes in food allergies, intolerance, digestive issues, autoimmune illnesses. Paula loves teaching people how to go back to the basis on food choices by providing simple recipe guides and lifestyle tips. She has taught several classes and appeared on many other TV shows such as The Doctor Connect. She has been a guest speaker for Central Mass Lyme Foundation, Bristol County Hope for Lyme, and the Breast Friends Connection. This just to name a few. Paula is also passionate for about helping other businesses and other business funding, along with a few other business resources. And Paula is available for one-on-one coaching, group coaching, and speaking engagement. Now, I know Paula sent me more up to date on her bio. So, Paula, you tell everybody anything that I may have left off.
No, that about covers it. And of course, I have my own show now, the Overcoming Illness. So
Oh,
yeah.
say that again.
So now I have my own TV show called Overcoming Illness, which you've been a guest. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, but but since my viewers don't know you, Paula, what does that mean? Overcoming illnesses.
So my guests that have been on, people like you, Judy, they have they're either gone through an illness, they're going through an illness, or maybe there's somebody that have witnessed illness. We've had all kinds of guests, like you with stroke. We've had tonight. I just had somebody on. It was part two. She's been on before. She had breast cancer, so we talked about life after breast cancer. I have guests on that have had congestive heart failure, mold toxicity, cancer. We've had autism on there. I had a guy on there, amazing, amazing guy. He was only in his early 20s. He talked about suicide, depression, and the military. Oh my gosh, that just blew me away. And then one of my other guests, I believe she's going to be your guest too. She got hit by an 18 wheeler. That was an amazing story.
Yes,
So,
I had her yesterday. She was out
yay!
here yesterday.
Oh,
Look,
yeah.
now, you know, I've got to ask you, what made you have a show on overcoming illnesses?
Well, I think because I've helped a lot in the Lyme disease community, and I feel like their voices are not heard. You know, they have all these symptoms, and they're going through all this stuff, and they don't know where to turn. They keep turning to each other. They need hope. They need encouragement. They need advice. Nothing on this show or my show is meant to be, full disclosure, not medical advice, not meant to treat, heal, cure, or mitigate any illness. But we give some advice, whether it's about the diet, whether it's about prayer, your faith. Um, how can you get through it? What can you do to get through it? Some people talk about their prayer life, how they change their prayer life. Some people talk about their diet, how they change their diet. Maybe it's both. What kind of support system did you have in your family? All of that. It's so important.
Well, since we talk about generational turnaround on here, we talk
Hmm.
about turning around a situation that has been going on through your family, uh, generation to generation to generations. Are you Do you have that kind of conversation when people come in and they tell you whatever happening to them? It has it been stroke, for instance, has several generations gone through that? And the Lyme disease, is the Lyme disease generational?
Yeah, so we've had that discussion before because if you do look, a lot of times if you look at the family members, they've had some of the symptoms of what, say Lyme disease. and it's running in the family. So you have to look back at like what started this. You know, like there's a doctor in Connecticut, Dr. Stephen Phillips. He's done all kinds of studies. He's actually traced Lyme disease back to Italy, believe it or not. He's done all kinds of
Mhm.
studies, and like some of it just traces back to Italy. Who would have thought? You know, I mean, it does. The norm, everybody thinks of Lyme, Connecticut is where, you know, that's the big thing, like where Lyme disease kind of got its name from Lyme, Connecticut, because the kids were getting like arthritic type issues. But there was a lot of ticks and things, deer ticks in Lyme, Connecticut. So the kids were getting it from the deer ticks. So that's how it got its name. But there, he's tracing it back to Italy by again the generation from, you know, it's being passed down through families, and people don't realize it. You know, it is being passed down mother to child. You know, other illnesses, not just Lyme, is passed down through generations. I took a class, um, and it was about um, mothers being pregnant and then the child and nutritional deficiencies. So that was fascinating to me because you know, we all know a little bit about like spina bifida and not getting enough folate, not getting enough vitamin B in the pregnant mom and what will happen to a child if that's the case. But we never think of other vitamin and mineral deficiencies. So here's another one. My friend, now this was years ago, she was pregnant. This was when I was starting to study nutrition, and she kept drinking like big mambo glasses of milk. And I'm like, oh my God, that's so bad for the baby. I'm like, you gotta stop, because she was craving it. Well, fast forward, that child wound up having issues with dairy and had gut problems. Most of her, I mean, I'm not in touch with her now. Her child's much older. I don't know what's happening. But I do know for a few years that child had a lot of gut issues. And I was trying to tell her, don't, I mean, she'd have like 3 glasses at once. Now you got a little small little baby with a stomach like this trying to digest milk when you know, it does a number on the baby. So it really matters what the mom is ingesting and then when it goes on to the child, and then it's a generational thing. A lot of people think they can't change that. You know what I mean? Like I had a neighbor, for instance, I think she had osteoporosis. She's like, that runs in my family. Like you can't reverse it. Of course you can
Mm.
reverse it. You just start to stop eating what your family was brought up on. A lot of Italians were brought up on pasta and pizza and lasagna, and you know, maybe they didn't get enough things that made the bone strong, that made, you know, gave you calcium, whatever. Got to look at what are you missing. You know, some people have a lot of eye problems in their family. The mom was probably missing some vitamin A in the diet.
Mhm.
You know, there was a guy I worked with at the jail, not as a client, just as a coworker. But he was telling me how his whole family had glaucoma. They're all from Ireland. I'm like, well, let's look at this. What were they missing? Maybe in Ireland they were just eating like potatoes and cabbage, but maybe no sweet potatoes, maybe no carrots, maybe no, you know, what were they missing that everybody kept getting glaucoma?
And
Wasn't
everybody, and
most
and and
yeah,
it and they got passed down.
right,
That way of eating became passed down
right,
to each generation, and so everybody end up with eye problems.
right. So it's fascinating to see that, like, because like I said, they always teach us about the big one, the spina bifida,
Mm.
the
Yeah.
folate, the vitamin B, prenatal vitamins. Let's prevent that. But they never talk about the mom really needs to get the right vitamins so that the child doesn't have these other issues, whether it's going
Mhm.
to be gut problems, eye problems. There was another one, don't ask me, I can't remember if it was vitamin K or not. Child will even have like a flat face from that vitamin and mineral deficiency. I want to say it was
Mhm.
vitamin K, I don't remember for sure, so don't mark my words. Quite a while ago, and it was only a 1 day class, but it was
Mhm.
fascinating. I took it at it was in Newton, Mass. Uh, I don't know if it was Brigham Women's Hospital, but it was one of those famous hospitals in Newton, Mass. I'd have to look it up, but it was so, what a fascinating class to take. if you ever have a chance to take something like that and learn about the mom and the nutrients that she needs so that that child,
Hmm.
and then of course, and then some, the next child and the next generation don't have these issues. It's all about a vitamin and mineral deficiency in the mom.
And I remember learning about what I needed to eat being pregnant and what vitamins I needed to take. But I also remember my mother-in-law, or my grandmother, they would tell you, just eat this, just eat that, just
Hmm.
make sure you eat a lot of this. And, but they were right.
Right.
They were right. They knew exactly what to tell young mothers. And then we were being raised on that stuff anyway. So it wasn't a hard thing to do. We
Yeah.
were really being raised on vitamins and fruits and,
Right. Right.
that. Yeah. But as the generations came behind us, they got more into what was fast.
Yeah.
Anything that you can prepare real fast because most of them are going to work until they're 9 months or eight
Yeah.
months, and so they had to do it everything fast. But
And yeah, I'm going to add to that another story too.
okay.
Same woman that was drinking the milk. I just remembered this. When she was breastfeeding now, I remember her eating pizza. And then the child had stomach issues. Well, what's on the pizza? Sauce, gluten, cheese. Those are all hard things to digest. So picture that's in your breast milk. It's going into the child. See, they don't teach you these things. They say, "Oh, it's no big deal." Yeah, it is. It's a very
Yeah.
big deal. There's proof right there.
So I
There's
want to go back to the Lyme disease. The
okay.
So it was a tick.
Yeah.
This
It
comes
starts
from a tick.
it starts with a tick bite, but it's not to say now some of this is controversial, don't get me wrong, but so many studies are beginning to prove it. So it starts with a tick bite, but say that mom got bit with a tick and now she has a child, that child could be born with Lyme disease because the mom had it. It is being passed from mother to child. A lot of
And,
talking that much about it, but studies are starting to prove it.
and what's the worst thing that can happen to someone that is bitten by a Lyme? That tick.
Well, some of the symptoms are, I mean, everybody's different, but these are like the major symptoms. They wind up having joint pain because it affects the joint, gut issues because it affects the gut, nervous, it affects the nervous system, so a lot of nervous issues, um, like neuropathy in the fingers, tingling in the
Oh,
fingers. Um, a lot of people get plantar fasciitis in the feet. I don't know why. Usually hip problem, lower back problems, Bell's palsy sometimes, migraines, frozen shoulders, a big, uh, what do you call it, symptom. Um, what's some other symptoms? Actually, the Lyme actually gets in the gums. Lyme disease, like the little spirochetes, they look like corkscrew pasta, the little spirochetes from Lyme disease. They get into the gums and infect the mouth and the teeth. So a lot of people have issues there. Yeah,
and all of this comes from a tick.
from a tick bite.
And so, where are these ticks? Are they on particular animals or
It's
it
mostly
could?
deer tick, but I mean, you could be outside and they're just the size of like a little poppy seed. You don't even know it's on you. Now, sometimes you will know you got bit. You'll get the like, looks like Target, the
Mhm,
store Target, the bullseye. You will get
mhm.
bullseye rash, but not always.
Is,
Not
is is it in a particular part of the country?
Well, New England has it really bad, but they are everywhere. There's nobody is
Oh.
nobody, yeah, there's not one place that you could say that they don't live. They live in the winter. Believe it or not, they're everywhere. I mean, North Carolina, New England. New England's really, really bad. New York's really bad. Of course, Connecticut, where they found it. But it's everywhere. You can get it. Like some
Mm.
people, when I went to California, people were like, oh yeah, you can't get Lyme disease in California. I'm like, oh no. I met people in California that had Lyme disease and got it in California. There's mountains. They go hiking. You're outside. Anywhere you're outside can be a tick.
So when you say disease, is that the name of the tick itself or the disease?
The disease. The
It's
disease.
just, but
Yeah.
the name is a tick.
Yeah.
Mm, my
Yeah.
God.
So
I mean, I know we had ticks.
right.
We had dogs, so dogs always had ticks.
Yeah.
And some people would have a worse reaction than someone else.
Right.
Right. But to generational turnaround for that family, for those people, because that the main person can pass it on, a mother can pass it on.
Right.
It uh, me and you get it, you can get it from me. Do I have to be bitten?
So yeah, I mean it's not contagious supposedly that way. I mean again,
Okay.
that's there is a way maybe. And again, this is controversial. Say like
Mhm.
we drank from the same cup or something, you know what I mean? That's also controversial that you could possibly pass it on to each other. Um we don't know for sure, but it's definitely running in families. I mean, I used to go to all the Lyme disease group meetings, and every family, every like my girlfriend had 19 members of her family had Lyme disease. How does 19 members of your family get Lyme disease? I mean, you can't tell me it's from playing in the same backyard.
Right.
Husband and wives had it, cousins. It was just the entire family. So they're giving it to each other.
Yes.
They're giving
Well,
it to or born
I'm
in
gonna start with some of these questions. How can the food we eat impact not only our own health, but also the health of future generations? And I think we were talking about that as far as the Lyme disease, but it's the way that people are eating. What about that?
So I would say we were just talking a little bit about this, Judy, with my other guest on my show. Her and I were just talking about this. They're doing so much to our food and everything. But the good news is we're getting smarter, and we're
Hmm.
really looking at what we eat. Like I answer phones for grocery stores, and I get people. They're calling. They're asking questions. They want to know. They see the word bioengineered as an ingredient, and they're calling up and they're saying, "What is this? What bioengineered and what ingredients does that mean?" And whatever. They're getting smarter. And
Mm-hmm.
for those of you who don't know, bioengineered is just another fancy name for GMO, genetically modified food, which was made in a lab.
Mm-hmm.
So that for those who don't know what the heck bioengineered is, now you know. So
Yeah.
they replace GMO with the word bioengineered because they don't want you to notice. They don't want you to know what they're doing. So I think our next generations coming up, they're getting smarter,
Yeah.
and it's kind
Yeah.
of I think it's a mix. I think some of them are not. They just have blinders on. We talked about this. They want things fast. So
Mm-hmm.
they want what they want when they want, and that's it. End of story. They don't care what kind of nutrition's in it. They don't care if it's going to make them sick. They don't care. They just want fast
Right.
food, pizza, fast food, whatever it is. But then there's the other side. They want to be healthy. They know what's in their stuff. They're really studying it and trying to stay away from the crap. So it's like I feel like we're kind of in the middle, and even with some of the
Yeah.
older people too. Like I can tell about
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
um,
But because some of them can't afford the good
right,
stuff,
right,
and so they're eating what? they can afford.
Yeah.
Do,
Eating what they
do
can
you
afford.
think that's true?
I think it's a mix of things. You know, they're eating what they can afford, and again, it goes back to what they were brought up with. You know, if they ate, like garbage, growing up, they just want to keep on going. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like they don't care about being healthy. They just want to eat what they want. They want their ice cream if they want their ice cream. They want their soda if they want their soda. I look at it, I'm like, why are you still drinking that crap? Like you should know by now what it does to you. Why do you want it?
Mm.
I don't. I mean, it was one thing where we didn't know, but everybody on Earth knows soda
Yeah.
is. If it
When
can
you,
the rust off of a nail, why do you want that in your body?
yeah, yeah, well, God, when you know
Yeah,
better, you're supposed to do better, right?
right. So some
Yeah.
people are doing better, they're getting smarter, but yet at the same time, I'm just like when the pandemic hit, for example, I had a different job in a grocery store, oddly enough. I was a cashier. And I was so in shock to see what people were buying. Now, granted, you had to take it with a grain of salt because the kids were just getting, they were getting thrown from being at school to being at home. So a lot of people were buying snacks for the kids. I get that. But it was like one big party. Everybody had their grocery carts full to the max. The bottom of the grocery cart was alcohol, and then it was like chips, Oreos, whatever, junk food. And I'm saying we can breathe on each other and die at any second now. This is the way they were making it sound, and that's what you're bringing home. You're not bringing home any vegetables. Like what? And the thing that really killed me, no, they got the whole thing full of junk food, and do you know what their first words were? Well, I need hand sanitizer. Where's your hand sanitizer? Are you kidding me? You have a whole cart full of junk food that you're going to ingest, and you care about hand sanitizer? I mean, I couldn't say it.
Yes, I
I
know.
you can't say anything. I wanted to. Oh my god, I wanted to.
Let's
But
move on to the next question. Could you share some insights into the connection between food, allergies, digestive, and autoimmune?
share some insights. Oh boy. Well, I grew up junk food junkie. I will say that. I liked my frosted flakes. I liked Cheerios with no milk. I would
Mhm.
put sugar on my Cheerios. The more sugar, the better.
Mm.
It really is true. Like they did studies, they stopped putting sugar in baby food because they thought that the kids were getting, or the babies were getting addicted to the sugar right from the get go because there was sugar in the
Mhm.
baby food. And I do think there is some truth to that because as a kid, like as a treat, we would actually have this baby food that was called blueberry buckle. It was kind of like a pie filling. At that time, it still had the sugar in it. So that was
Okay.
like a little treat every now and then because it had sugar.
Right.
So I loved my sugar. The more sugar, the better. What I realized as an adult was I was craving so much sugar because I wasn't getting sugar from the right foods. I
Mhm.
wasn't getting it from my vegetables. I wasn't getting it from fruits. I wasn't getting apples. I wasn't getting grapes and bananas and carrot. I wouldn't eat vegetables. So I was just as a brat. I didn't want my vegetables. I'd sit at the table till sundown, gave my carrots to the dog. You got so that's how they figured
So
out I
all
was
your good sugar,
my
you
craving
didn't want that.
right because my body needed something. So I think when you're not giving your body the right nutrients all that time, eventually your body's gonna something's gonna give. Something's gonna because you never gave it the right nutrients all that time. Then stress plays a role. So eventually, so for me, I wound up with an autoimmune issue, which was food allergies. It is an autoimmune issue. It begins with an E. I didn't find out I had it until I moved to North Carolina because I almost choked to death. But yeah, it begins with an E and suffers something. And basically, I needed to eat, more alkaline foods and just stay away from the gluten. Gluten wasn't digesting well. But yeah, if you grow up eating junk food, eventually something your body's gonna retaliate, if you want to say,
That's a good
gonna
choice of
retaliate,
word.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you may wind up with, you may not be food allergies, but you might get cancer, you might get gut issues, you might get, something, whatever,
And so Paula, are you saying that too much sugar? Now, this is what happened to you. You're getting too much of the wrong sugar.
hmm
And so, could that be what's happening with a lot of people, that they're getting too much wrong sugar? So, what would you suggest to them as far as changing the
Well,
way
do it
that they
slowly.
eat?
You can't do it overnight. Start to get more greens in your diet. Greens. When you get greens, you don't crave as much sugar. So start getting a little more kale in your, in your meals. Eat a salad before dinner. Have something alkaline. Have some alkaline water. You can do lemon water. You can do lime water. Start getting a little more alkaline, but definitely get more greens, because when you get more greens, it balances your blood sugar and you're not craving as much sugar.
Oh,
So get
okay.
your, yeah,
Okay, I didn't know that.
yeah.
But
Uh,
the alkaline, what is it about the alkaline? I hear so much about alkaline in your
so
in your body.
just like plants, give off oxygen. If we eat like a more of a plant-based diet, you're going to get oxygen in your body. Oxygen deters illness. So your body, what's the word I want? You get ill or disease when there's no oxygen, when you're not alkaline. So alkaline means you're getting oxygen. So that's why plant based is better. So think about it. You have plants in your home. They always say get more plants in your home, you get more oxygen, right?
Mhm.
Put that in
Right.
your body. So if you put the plants in your body, you're going to get the oxygen from the plants. That's going to make you more alkaline. So disease can't live in an alkaline environment.
Okay, that's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah,
Disease can't live in an alkaline body. I
right.
hope everybody hear that.
Yep,
More plants,
right.
more alkaline.
Yeah,
Yeah. And less bad sugar.
right. Processed sugar, donuts, cakes, all that stuff is it's just
And and
yeah.
there's no certain age that you're safe to eat as much of that as you want to.
No, I mean it's
Mm,
gonna make you sick eventually. I mean,
mm,
I took that. I worked at another woman at the jail that I worked with, not as a client. She liked her sweets. She liked her food, constant bad food, and she was always constipated, always.
mhm.
And how sad is this? She would rather go to the hospital because she's so constipated now that she's like really sick from it, and do that whole thing, the whole exam, the whole nine, because now she's so constipated, she's sick from it, than just stop eating the junk. She would rather be hospitalized. Are you serious? I was in stomach pain. I do not want to go back from eating the wrong foods. You know, I mean,
And
I'll cheat once in a while. I'll have a muffin, I'll have a donut, I'll have a cookie, but I don't eat it every day. Can't.
that makes me think about, I wonder if she came from a generational thing, that her family generations
So
ate
yeah,
that way.
her story. Food was love. Food was love.
Hmm.
Um, if you didn't like the food she cooked, for instance, she'd get mad at you because you didn't love her. So she used to hate me because now I've got food allergies. I can't eat all this crap she's bringing in. I can't. But she'd get mad at me because I wouldn't eat it. It didn't matter that it could have killed me. She'd get
Mm.
mad. She'd get mad because that was, to her, that was love.
Yeah.
You had
Well,
to love her food. And, she had a boyfriend and everything was, Bob loves this. Bob loves that. Bob loves. And it was, that was her, like, that was her way of life. If you didn't love her
Right.
food, you didn't love her.
You
And
didn't love her. And
sadly
but
enough, 6 feet under,
think,
and she died.
think about how many and think about that way. That was a real feeling that people thought if you did not love their cooking,
You don't love them.
if you would not eat when you came over,
You didn't love them. Yep.
that's right.
That's a big
So,
culture thing. That's a big,
yeah,
because my
imagine.
nana, yeah, my nana would do the same thing. She'd, you, and this was hard too. Like I said, when I had the food allergies, or when I was starting to get sick, she's like, have some cookies, da da da, and Nana, I can't eat that stuff. You know what I mean? She'd always
Mhm.
have put cells in the freezer, and then she'd pull them out. You know, every time we came over, my mom.
Was it a Italian way that you had to eat and you had to eat and you had to eat if you were coming over
Mm-hmm.
just to pick up somebody, you had to sit down and have something.
Yep.
So in hey, when I was growing up, it's the same way. You can go to the neighbor's house and you're gonna have to get something. Come on, you kids, come on in here
Yeah.
and yeah.
Right.
And so that's was the beginning of a way of life for each
Right.
generation.
Right.
Oh, we're gonna. It was like a custom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cultural thing.
So,
I taught the Urban College of Boston in Boston, Mass. I taught a lot of they were African American, Latino, and one I want to say, I think she was Portuguese, if I'm not mistaken. And their culture was like constantly a party for everything. I'm having a party this weekend. It's cousin's birthday. It's a whatever. There's always a celebration and party. So she did a paper, and I'll never forget it. It was just eye opening to see like how many, every time she turned around, there was cakes and pies and cookies on, all this stuff. She grew up on all. I mean, I thought the Italians were bad. There was a lot. It was a lot, like what she had written in the paper. And so this class was just hopefully a turnaround for her. It
mm,
seemed to be. I don't know now. I don't keep in touch, but it seemed to be because what we did, we had it was I don't know how many weeks it was, so many weeks, and we'd have a chef, and we had me teaching the nutrition. So my friend Vanessa was the chef, so we'd make a healthy meal, and then we taught him a little bit about nutrition. But I'll tell you, Judy, that was eye opening to me because you and I, or many, many people on this earth, we know about nutrition and we know how to take care of ourselves. We just don't do it. There were some
right.
things that we don't know, but to the we're taught a good picture of it, right?
Mm,
These people were clueless. Like they weren't taught any of it. Not even like a simple nutrition class. Nothing. Like they knew nothing. Like it was like they were just starting from square one. That was eye opening. It really
yeah.
was. It
Yes.
was
I
really
bet.
eye opening. Like I'm like, how do you not know? I mean, like I said, you take a nutrition class, you learn more advanced stuff. But for the most part, I think a good portion of Americans now, we've got a good idea about nutrition. We're taught some of it in school. We just
Yeah.
don't do it all. But
Right.
it it was eye opening. I mean, they were really clueless. Like they didn't know anything about diabetes. They didn't know anything. They just knew it was a word and it was a disease, and they were pre-diabetic. They just knew they
Mhm.
had high blood pressure, and they couldn't get rid of it. That's it. Like they weren't taught anything. We watched the movie Reverse Diabetes in 30 Days. If you've never seen it, watch it. It was so eye opening for them. They loved that movie. That I swear that changed their life because it wasn't just about diabetes. I was like, you guys, it does. It's not just about diabetes. You can reverse any illness. And again,
Yes.
advice, but
Oh, y'all say that again, Paula. You say you can reverse
any
any illness.
just about right, right.
Because I know people who have illnesses who the doctor said there's nothing that
Bull.
they can do but treat it,
Bull.
keep them comfortable.
Yeah.
And you take all these pills to treat it,
Mm.
but they'll let you know that you cannot get rid of it.
Yep.
And
No, that's
so
for them. Yeah.
that's not true. I was diagnosed with
Yeah.
rheumatoid arthritis, and I was treated for that. Helping about, I was told I couldn't get rid of it, but they can treat me for it.
Right.
Let me tell you, 2 years ago, I started taking, being treated for it, maybe 2008. 3 years ago, I stopped taking the medication. And I just went to a rheumatologist. I say, I'm in Texas. I'm going to go and check it out.
Mm.
I went there. That doctor, he looked at me. He looked at all the tests that they had done. And then he looked back at me and he said, I don't see anything that says you ever had, and no, I don't, that you don't have it now. And he looked at me and he said, and I said, but God. And he
Mm.
said, he said, but God is right.
Mm.
That was his words. But I've done everything. The book I read was, what's the name of it? Uh, oh my God.
I know you read Dr. Furman, right?
Yes,
Yeah. Yep.
yes.
Dr.
What's
Furman.
the name of
Yeah.
that, Paula? Uh,
Um,
oh my God.
the Eat Alive. Um,
It'll come to me. But, and I'm going to tell everybody, Dr. Furman, you are very, very eat to live.
that's it. Eat to,
Yes,
you're right. Eat to live. Yep.
eat to live. And everybody, I have been eating to live instead of living to eat.
Mm. Right.
We just need, look, everybody, get that mindset. Yeah, you got to eat. Yes, but it is up to you what you eat.
Yeah.
So Paula, let me see. What what role does education and awareness play in making conscious food choices? I think we kind of talked about that.
Yeah, we did touch upon that, but I will say one other thing that helped me. When you start to realize what food can do for you and not just against you, that's a big eye opener too. You know,
Mhm.
even like water, drinking water. You know, growing up, water tasted terrible. Let's face it, we did like tap water; it was disgusting.
Mhm.
Um, but when you start to realize, like I started to realize water was helping me with my allergies. If I got stuffy and all this, I'd start to drink water, and I was like, oh my God, I don't need to go buy Allerist. I don't need to go buy all this stuff on the in the market. I was so much better just drinking water.
Yes.
So when you start to see like what food can do for you, and then just by getting more fruits and vegetables, my allergies got better.
Mhm.
Again, not medical advice, but
Yeah.
I have to lock the windows, lock the doors. I couldn't go outside in certain months because there was so much pollen in the air, and I'd get stuffy and sneezy and all of that. I just started drinking water and eating more fruits and vegetables. The vitamin C boosts the immune system, and
Mhm.
the water helps with the allergies because you
Mhm.
have more histamines when you're dehydrated. So the water was helping. I wish I had known that years ago.
Yeah.
Every year I would buy a different over the counter medicine. What I can't remember them all, but like Allerest and but every
Mm-hmm.
year I had to buy a different one because I get immune to it. So the next year I have to buy a different one. And I'd be a mess in like May and I forget, August, somewhere around there. At ragweed and goldenrod would kill me. Now I am not perfect. I still sneeze once in a while, whatever, but not like I was. I mean, it is just getting enough water. Water can help with. We talked about rheumatoid arthritis and joint pain.
Mm-hmm.
The water that's going to lubricate your joints. Look up your body's many cries for water. This guy is amazing. This is where I learned a lot of stuff from. He was saying that like with back pain, your discs shrink. So that's why you have back pain. You drink water and they're not going to be shrunken as much. So it's going to help with that. It helps with asthma. So just getting your water in is like you're not going to be as tired. You won't be as bloated. You eliminate waste better. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
just getting your water in is huge.
When come, I'm telling you what I have found that works for me. Watermelon.
Oh wow,
Besides
water in
all
it.
the added value, vitamins, minerals, but I eat watermelon every day.
Oh wow.
I used to be so constipated. I used to have be so clogged up, and but watermelon, y'all. Not only does it taste good, and make sure you get the seeded.
Right. Yeah. Don't
That's
get the
right.
other garbage that's
That's
on.
right.
Yeah.
And I have it. I had it for breakfast this morning,
Mm.
and by the time I came back from church, I mean it makes you feel good,
Mm.
and it feeling because it's water.
Right.
So you don't have to eat that quarter pound. You go get you some good watermelon. You can get it in a cup at the grocery store
Yeah.
if you don't want a big watermelon. And I tell you what, you're gonna be so filled when you get finished with that
Mm.
and feel better. So I go every day. I have watermelon
Yeah.
and I drink my water.
Yeah. So that's what I've noticed. Like that made a huge difference to me because we're always taught everything's always don'ts, right? Don't drink soda,
Don't.
sugar, don't get too much salt. But when I started to realize what certain foods could do for me and what they were
Mhm.
doing for me,
Yeah.
huge eye opener, huge. That's what changed my life. Like
So
just
we can just get people to give it a chance.
right,
It's not gonna be. Some things do start working as soon as you get them into your system,
right, right.
and the fruits and the vegetables, spinach and kale.
Mm,
It's such a difference.
I love
It's such
them.
a difference in your life when you get that in.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Good for your blood. Yeah.
Mhm. And fermented food for your gut.
Yep. Fermented food is good. Yep.
And that's what we used to eat as children. Fermented food, olives and pickles and sourdough bread. I love sourdough bread. So
Mm,
you go and find out what fermented foods and start adding that to your diet because it's wonderful for the gut.
yeah. Absolutely. We
Yeah.
made that. We made it. That class I taught at the Urban College of Boston. We had a guest chef, Chef Dee Emmons, and she was a famous chef.
Mm-hmm.
She made a big thing of fermented foods. I mean, we went next door and it was like a they just had all different cultures. That was because it was
Mm-hmm.
like an African American area, Latino area. So they had all different cultured foods. You know what I mean? So we just picked up all these different things. I don't even remember. Your ginger, your garlic, your cabbage, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just made this whole big bowl of fermented, and we all had like different ones, like we picked from the store.
Yeah.
She got a little bit, like what we could pick. But yeah, we just threw it all in jars and let that ferment and
Yes.
did it, a few weeks later or whatever. But everybody made their own, and yeah, it was quite fascinating
Mhm.
to do that. Mm.
I want everybody to know when we talk about generational turnaround, and I haven't said anything about the GT Summit, which is coming up
Hmm.
September the 6th and the 7th, where I have 16 speakers from around the country who's going to be virtual, but they're going to be talking to our parents and our young people. We're trying to bridge the gap, and they're coming with tried and tested solutions. They're not coming with more questions. So, and then we're also going to have a time when you can go into the break-off room. I think that's what you call, and listen to them one on one. Not one on one, but it's going to be a group setting, but they're going to have their own room. But generational turnaround, just like Paula so greatly told us how we can make a generational turnaround with our food, with our health. There's, if you think about it, there's a lot of uh, ways that generational turnaround will make a difference in a family line generations. And if you have in your mind that you've been trying to get your family to do because you're trying to get them to that curse, that generational curse has stopped your family, or it has taken over the mindset of your family. Well, it's time to make the generational turnaround on whatever, but definitely that generational curse. They got too many good families who have been halted by those words. So this is Generational Turnaround Podcast and my special guest Paula. And we hope that what we said to you will make a difference in the way that you think about your family dynamics and the direction that is headed. Paula, please tell everybody how they can get in touch with you and what you can offer them.
Okay, yeah, so I've been putting together some more digital ebooks and recipe books. So follow me on social media under my name, Paula Denoncourt, on Facebook, um, mostly Facebook and Instagram. I'm on TikTok under Enrich Your Health with a UR, ENRICHURHALTH. Not doing as much on TikTok as I do on Facebook, but follow me there. Um, so yeah, stay tuned for. I have digital ebooks and recipe books. I started a virtual walking club where I want people to, walk and pray. So it's good for our health. It's good for. We need to pray when we walk. It's a good time to pray and listen to God and what He has to tell us. And I give out prizes for people who post the most or whatever. So it's just getting started, but we're doing that. Let's see what else. I'm trying to think. I'm available for one-on-one coaching, group coaching, speaking engagements. I'm looking for people for my show. If you've got an illness, overcoming an illness. I also offer business funding. So if you can't get business funding from a bank, reach out to me. You can get me by going to my email info@enrichyourhealth.com, and that's again ENRICHURHALTH IntoTH.com, and then info in front of it, info@enrichedhealth.com. My phone number is 508-330-9665. You can always text me, Facebook message, Instagram message. I respond to those as well. Yeah, so I'm just excited. I'm putting together more recipes. I'll have more recipe books available soon. Excited about that. I think it's needed. I think a lot of people are looking for it. So, yeah, lots of stuff happening. Yeah.
All right, you've got a lot going on, Paula.
Mhm.
Yes. Well, I pray that today has been better than yesterday, but not as good as tomorrow. I pray that tomorrow will bring forth a double portion of blessings in the form of opportunity that you never saw coming. Good night, good night, good night. Until we meet again next Thursday. All right. Thank you, Paula.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for watching.